Okay, I'm standing outside my house and looking at a garden. So start by bearing in mind that when I came here 20 years ago, this was all grass. There were no trees, no bushes, no shrubs, no anything. So first of all, I'm going to turn back towards my house, which is made of wood. And you can see here a whole range of empty pots and also a few shrubs and so on, including magnificent hosta here, that somehow just grows like this every year. Because my house is dark brown, as you can see, the array of pots here is to put in summer flowering plants, which are not quite ready yet because of the frosts. This area here is an almost circular bed of what are called weeping roses. I tried to replace some of them, but the grower no longer makes them. And these are now 20 years old. And they were amazed that they'd lasted that long. Moving across now to one of my main flower beds here, I designed it. I had a gardener dig it over, but everything you see I planted myself. It's not terribly bright at the moment because we're waiting for summer plants to come out, and it is rather nice. Here's an Italian fountain, which is still going strong, although it's not as frost-proof as the person who sold it to me said. And here are my trees. I always wanted to grow a Espalier fruit, as the English call it, and so I created an oval section here with mixed fruit trees in practice, and that's been really good. And now just moving forward a little bit. Here are my two greenhouses. This was the first one I bought, and if I go really closely to the greenhouse, actually I'll open the door, you can see here all the bedding plants, as we call them in England, waiting to be planted outside. There's 300 of them in here, and I buy them as plug plants in February. And then this is another greenhouse I bought because actually I grew out of the white one that we've just passed in practice, and I got in here tomatoes and all kinds of vegetables, and on the floor are dahlias in there. Again, it's too early to plant them out. Now you see we're going around a corner. I've got quite a large garden, and this beech hedge, which you see, I planted myself, every single one, and they were oh golly, much less than a metre high when I planted them, and it runs for about 50 metres, I suppose. And this has become my paddock. The grass was cut this morning. Every tree you see here I planted in practice, and some of them are 20 years old and some are a little bit younger here. And then, as I promised you, here is my summer house, which we cleared out, and I go and sit in there in the afternoons, and I sometimes work in there as well. And I've got Wi-Fi too, so that's really good. And next to it is my cage for vegetables. I got fed up with rabbits and things getting in and eating my vegetables. And as you can see, I've only just started planting these sections, partly because they're waiting for dahlias as well. I won't let my wife cut flowers from the main part of my garden, so I created this so that in here you can cut the flowers, which enables peace in the household. And going down here, under the trees, as I say, all of which I planted, this tree is a tulip tree. I don't know why it's got that name, but every 2 or 3 years it has wide flowers, a bit the dimension of a water lily in practice. And underneath here, my wife is trying to develop a wild garden, although not with too much success, but I'm not allowed to mow it. And then, turning around again, you can see the full length of the garden to the hedge at the end. That hedge at the far end is the only thing that I didn't plant. It was here when we moved in, and technically it belongs to our neighbour. So there you are, quick tour of my garden. And yes, you're right, I'm really, really proud of it in practice, because we planted so many trees and they've done so well. I mean, look at this one up here. I mean, they're huge, and none of them are more than 20 years old. So there you are. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.